Hey YouTube, so this is part 5 of our nightmare moving experience with National Relocation Van Lines. As I said, I'm not going to recap stuff, so I'm just going to keep going from where I left off. Which was that we found out that our items were going to be delivered Monday, August 3rd, despite our guaranteed delivery date of August 1st, which was in writing, by the way. So August 3rd rolls around after 2 days of just calling people and trying to talk to people. We were on and off calling through the whole weekend, trying anybody. Ryan, Leo, customer service, we tried dispatch, we tried everybody. Nobody would take our call. Nobody would answer. Nobody would return a call. Nothing. Total communication blackout. And which was really just really scary. So August 3rd rolls around, it's like 9 in the morning, and we get a call from a random number, and they're like, "This is the moving company, we will be there in 10 minutes. It's the worst Russian accent I've ever done. But a bunch of Russian guys said they would be there in 10 minutes. So my fiance and I start running around trying to get stuff together. We've spent three or 4 days at this point, like, just scrunging around our house, like, trying not to panic. So we had to move the blow-up bed and all this crap. And my fiance, obviously the remainder of our $7,000 balance was due. So my fiance left to go get a cashier's check. Leaving me to finish getting everything together for the movers. So, after about 15 minutes, nobody was there, so I realized that my car was in the driveway, and I needed to move my car. So I went outside, and saw 2 men sitting in my driveway, and, I went to get in my car, and the guys saw me and came running up, and were like, "Oh, hello," in very, very broken English. These guys spoke almost no English at all. Just enough to basically say what they'd been trained to say, or what they'd, come up with their spiel by this point. Sorry, I'm gonna adjust this just a little bit. So I'm gonna adjust. So they said, yeah, we're here to deliver your package. My package, right? Everything I own in the world, they're calling it a package. And they said that they had a problem. Of course they had a problem. Of course they did. And they're like, well, you notice that there's no truck here. And of course I noticed that there was no truck here. And they said to me that there was a sign by the elementary school, which is down the street from our new neighborhood, that states that no trucks can enter without a permit. And that they couldn't get the truck into the neighborhood. So by now, okay, so I've done all my homework on moving scams by this point and all this stuff. I am ready for battle with these people. So I asked them, I said, have you looked for other ways into the neighborhood? The obvious. And they said, again, very broken English, just like, yes, we've explored every avenue and have found no other entrance into the neighborhood. So they proceed to tell me that I have 2 options. The first option is that, because it's illegal for them to bring the truck back there. Which I'm sitting there thinking to myself, then how did all these other people move into this neighborhood? Girl, really? I got 2 options, according to them. The first is to rent a shuttle, or they would rent a shuttle, and they would bring my things from the shuttle to the house from the truck, like back and forth. Which Leo had originally told us was going to be a $350 charge. They told us that it would be a $1,900 charge to do that. We didn't have, on top of the fact that we're just not doing that, We didn't have $1,900 to give them. They were already taking $7,000 of our money. Like, we didn't have any money to give them. So then they gave me the other option, which was, they said that it would be, if they got caught bringing the truck back to our neighborhood, it was a $600 fine, and that I could pay them $600 for the risk of bringing it back. Let's be real here. They asked me for a $600 bribe to illegally bring their truck into my neighborhood to move my furniture. Under the table. So I wanted to see like where their minds were at here, so I sort of played stupid. Like, they abused the language barrier a lot to like make things seem like they didn't understand what my problem was. So I played this right back this time. And I was like, I don't understand what you mean. You know, if a cop shows up and gives you a $600 ticket, I'll pay it, no problem. That's fine. And they were like, no, like we don't want that to happen. Like, you know, then, you know, how do we know that you would pay? And I was like, well, you can have the company bill me, so then they have a record. They can send it to collections if I don't pay. Like, whatever happens at that point. And they were like, we do not want to tell the company about this. We don't want the company knowing that we're potentially breaking the law. You know, so we're just not going to tell the company. You're going to give us the $600, and we're just going to bring the truck back, and everything will be okay. It was at this point that my fiance showed up with the cashier's check. He pulled up, rolled down the window, and I looked at him and I said, get ready, because here we go. So he gets out of the car, and the guys explained to him the situation with the sign. And my fiance is like, well, are there any other ways in? Like, what's the deal? And it was at this point that I was like, you know what, guys? I want to see the sign for myself. So I get in my car, and I'm like, I'm going to go check this sign out. I'll be right back. Thinking that I'm going to go up and there's not going to be a sign there. These people are obviously liars. They're criminals. Like, I know this. And I was like, there's not going to be a sign. So I get in my car, drive out to the front of our neighborhood to the elementary school. Sure enough, there are signs. There are signs that say it is illegal to bring a truck back. I don't know where they're getting the $600 fine thing from, because bullshit. They just want a $600 bribe. So, but there are signs there that say it's illegal to bring trucks back there without a permit. So I was like, okay. Now, I live in a pretty new development that's pretty big. I find it really hard to believe that there's no other way into the neighborhood but that one with the permit sign. I find it really hard to believe that. So I turned on my GPS and did some finagling, and sure enough, there was another way in. I went the other way in, came back to the house, said, hey guys, guess what? I foiled your plan, bitches. Well, no, that's not what I said. I said, hey guys, I found another way in. And they were really not happy about that. And come to find out that they were kind of sweating while I was gone, and told my fiance that they would accept a bribe of $300 from my fiance. $600 from me, $300 from my fiance. Which I thought was just really funny. So the Russians are like, well, they weren't Russian. I'm sorry. I feel racist and horrible for saying things like they're Russians. They're Eastern European. In fact, I think one of them was from Moldova, and the other one was from Ukraine. So, Eastern European gentlemen, asked if they could come with us to see the route. So, I was like, sure, hop in my car. I will take you and I will evidence you this route. So, they got in my car. I drove them down, drove them back. They were like, totally cool. So, I drove them down to the truck, which was another unmarked truck. an 18-wheeler unmarked truck. Not marked at all. So the last one was a Ryder truck. This was completely unmarked, just a white truck. So we go down, start to make the route. They're following us, and they're like, oh, we can't make this turn. So the truck just keeps on going. Like, they don't call us. There's nothing going on. We're like, where are they going? So they come back to the same place that they were, and they're like, we can't make the turn. So I was like, okay, well, hold on. I found one route in like 5 minutes. Let's see what I can do. I found another route within 5 minutes. And there was a problem with that route, and they couldn't go that way. So then I found another one. And that one, they were out of excuses. They couldn't do anything but go to my neighborhood. So these guys who had initially said that there was no other way into my neighborhood other than this illegal way, I found 3 other ways into the neighborhood within a 15-minute frame of time. Yeah. So then we get them into the neighborhood, and then there was this whole fiasco with they couldn't figure out how to back the truck into our cul-de-sac. So my fiance and I had to instruct 2 professional truck drivers on how to back the truck up so that it would go into our cul-de-sac. It took the whole process from them in my driveway, sitting in my driveway, to us getting the truck to our driveway took about 2 hours. So finally they're there. They won't back the truck up anymore because the guy has told us that the guy that speaks the least amount of English told us that he couldn't hit the curb, like not even the curb, like that slope of concrete that's between the street and the curb. He wasn't like that it was illegal for him to hit that. I find that really hard to believe. But he wasn't willing to cross onto that like 6-inch strip. So he didn't want to back the truck up anymore. But they were there. They were like right, they were 70 feet from our house. From the bottom of the driveway. They were there, and presumably our furniture was inside. You know, we were winning. So I was like, I needed to step away from the situation. And honestly, like, I resented my fiance a little bit for not having been there for the move out when the whole $7,000 thing was sprung on me. And this whole initial situation, and I just wanted to get away from the whole thing for a minute. So I went to Lowe's because I needed to pick up paint. And I was not even to Lowe's, and he calls me and he's like, we have an issue, I need you to come home. So I turn the car around to go home. Apparently, the cashier's check, which is as good as cash, anyone knows that has ever received payment in this form knows that a cashier's check is basically cash from the bank. And they said that a cashier's check wasn't good enough, that they needed money order or they needed cash. The only reason that you would not take cashier's check but in the same breath take money order is if you're doing something illegal. That's what drug dealers do. Drug dealers don't take cashier's checks, but they will take money orders. So, just FYI. So, Philip needed to leave to go get a money order, or a cashier, or not a cashier's check, or cash. Obviously he opted for the money order because it's still traceable somewhat. So he went to go fix that situation. The movers told him that they would begin to unload our things into the garage on good faith that he would bring the money back. So I was there supervising, being a real bitch. I was like standing there in the driveway with my arms like folded, just watching the things come off of the truck and then put my items in the garage. They wouldn't bring anything into the house. They left everything in the garage. And when we were like, "Can you take the furniture inside?" They were like, no. which is just weird. So then time passed. My fiance was gone a long time. There were several situations with the bank, with the post office, the money order. There were situations. And it took him a while to get back, probably half an hour, 40 minutes, somewhere in that time frame. But the guy came up to me and like found me in the house. I like came in to make a phone call to my mother, who was like worried and kept saying she needed to like call people to come over and watch us in case the guys tried to do anything crazy. But he came in the house and found me and said that if my fiance didn't come back soon, that they would not continue to work for free and that they would leave with our things. I told him that they were not contractually obligated to continue unloading our things, so they could stop and take a break, but that if they tried to drive away, I would call the police. Because that would be stealing. So I took my car and I parked it in front of the truck so they couldn't leave without hitting my truck. Or without hitting my car with their truck. Which I'm sure pissed them off. They didn't say anything about it, but I'm sure it pissed them off. My fiance finally came back. They stopped unloading our things, obviously. My fiance came back. They took the money orders. We took pictures of it. I videotaped the whole thing, because by this point, we were just like, these people are shiesty as all hell. So then, fiance tells me that also while I was at Lowe's, the guy attempted to charge him for the distance between the back of the truck and our driveway. Which, like, I think was probably like 70 feet. The guy said it was like 170 feet. Now, this was all because the guy driving the truck didn't want to back up any further, basically. Like, he could have made it clear within a couple more minutes, but he didn't want to move the truck anymore. So he said, I don't remember what he said he was going to charge us. I think it was like another $90 or something. These guys were desperate. And my fiance was like, wait, can you measure this for me? The guy measured out the distance between the back of the truck and our driveway with his feet. With his feet. So my fiance was like, are you serious? Do you have like a measuring tape or a yardstick or something to prove that it's this distance? And the guy replied like, no, I'd have to use yours. My fiance was really pissed at this point and was like, you know what? Everything I own, including my yardsticks, are on the back of the truck that you are refusing to unload. Everything. So, no, I don't have a yardstick for you to measure this properly. I don't. And the guy was like, that's fine. I'm an expert at measuring with my feet. I'll repeat that. I'm an expert at measuring with my feet. These guys wanted our money so bad. Luckily, however, my fiance and I had read and reread the contracts like 10 times. And there's a clause in the contract that says any other charge has to be agreed upon prior to delivery of the items. So we brought that up, and they backed off real quick. And didn't say anything else about it. So they started to finally unload our stuff and bring our furniture inside. They broke a lot of stuff. They sure broke a lot of stuff. We had a bookcase broken, shoe racks broken, they took a big gouge out of our dresser, our coffee table glass was smashed to smithereens, we had, a fish tank broken, glasses broken, mugs broken, plates broken, just, random stuff that breaks when you're moving. Then the guys brought in our equipment for the snakes. We started to put the snakes away. one of our snakes that we had raised from a tiny little baby for the past 4 years had severe neurological damage from the heat, from the cold, I'm not sure, from the temperature fluctuations. It could have been anything really. He had severe neurological damage and was having seizures in my hand as we were trying to force him to drink water. Sorry, this is still really hard to talk about all of this. Just all of this. And he died, like an hour later in his home that was 3 days late. So, we were really lucky not to lose any others. So far, everybody seems to be in pretty good health. We did lose one mother rat, which was sad. We hadn't had her for 4 years either. So these people were just kind of in our house, putting things in our house, and every new thing they found broken, it was like they would bring it up and this guy would just like smile, like, here, look, another of your personal belongings broken. It's just a really messed up experience. So they were like, finally they'd like unloaded the truck in like a couple hours and were like, we're finished. And my fiance was like, wait, it says in the contract that you're supposed to reassemble our basic furniture. And the guy looked at him like he was crazy and was like, what do you mean? And Philip was like, right here, it says you have to put together our furniture. And the guy said like, well, we didn't bring any tools, so we can't put together anything. We'd have to borrow your tools to do that. And we just told him to leave. Because honestly, by that point, we just, we wanted them gone. Once they left, like, we didn't know how to feel about, like, touching our furniture. Like, we didn't know how to feel. Like, it was like all of our furniture had been, like, used for, like, something really horrible. Like, it had all just come from, like, a drug maven or, like, a murder house. Everything felt weird. We felt like we just, like, outwitted a bunch of robbers that were in our house. These people, like, these criminals, like, walking around my house, handling my furniture, like, petting my dog, like, walking on my newly purchased carpets. Like, it was all just kind of way too much to handle. So, oh god, I'm so sorry, hit the laptop. So, you know, that was pretty much the whole thing. You know, we found out later that we're missing boxes of stuff. All of our pots and pans are gone. A lot of our kitchen equipment is gone. And the clutch of eggs that we had at the beginning of this whole adventure, they're not doing well from all their time from their extended stay in the temporary incubator. I can only hope that they hatch out alive and in one piece. Yeah, so, that's was my experience with National Relocation Van Lines. Really, really hope that if anybody got this far with this video series, that you all take what I'm saying to heart, and that you really do your homework before you say yes to a moving company. And for sure, do not say yes to National Relocation Van Lines. We have attempted to contact them for settlement for our broken items at least, and for whatever compensation we're owed for our violated guaranteed delivery date. Which, by the way, the warehouse manager, when we contacted him, he said that they don't deliver on weekends, and that somebody should have told us that. Well, nobody told us that. In fact, we were promised a guaranteed date on the weekend. But yeah, we've attempted to contact them for settlement of any kind, and nobody answers. Any day of the week you try, no one answers. Customer service doesn't answer, Ryan doesn't answer, Leo doesn't answer. Nobody answers. So we are in the process of trying to find a lawyer, which should be difficult, all things considered. I'm not sure how much legal recourse we have in this whole situation, but I guess we're going to find out one way or the other. To anybody that listened, thank you so much for sticking with me. It's like 5 in the morning at this point, and I should probably go to bed. But thank you for listening to everything I've had to rant about. I hope it helped you. Thanks.